Hi guys, Stacey Graves here for Whimsy Stamps. We're going to be creating a shaped card today, and we're going to be using Nested Hexagon die set, and I'm taking the largest one from that set to begin with. But what we're going to do is create our card base. I just took your 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and we're going to score it right down the middle. So at 5.5. When I'm using that Teflon bold folder from Whimsy Stamps. I love this thing. It's the first one I've ever had. I was hesitant to buy one because they are a little bit spendy, but they are worth their money. They score beautifully, they burnish beautifully, and they don't leave weird marks, and it's a lot more heavy and hefty than I thought it would be. I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. And it is fabulous. Now I'm taking that largest scallop hexagon die from the set. I laid it on that fold where we folded it, and left a little bit of a lip hanging off there. That's what I was showing you. And then I had cut another one of the dies shapes from that set onto a piece of alcohol marker friendly cardstock. Hey, I can't talk today. And we're going to use the stamp set Hello Bear, clearly Whimsy stamp set. And we're going to stamp out this cute little image in Memento Desert Sand ink and do no line coloring. And then I took the flower image from that stamp set. We're going to stamp it out multiple times. I'm just using an acrylic block to do that. And then we're going to color this cute little bear up. And you could color it up like Winnie the Pooh if you wanted to, because that's what he reminds me of. But I didn't do that. I love brown bears. I'm in California. I'm from California. And I love brown bears. So that's what we're going to color up this cutie with. I'm starting with my darkest brown marker. And I'm just laying down some shadows. I'm going to lay them to the bottom. And a little bit up around the face so it has some shape, so a little bit to your left. And the shirt would kind of cast a shadow too. So to the bottom and to the left for the most part, but do not get too worried about your shading or where your shadows are at. Just add some. You can add them in multiple different places. Go out in nature and look. You always think that your shadows are going to be a hard left or a hard right. They're not. It depends on where that light source is coming from. And other things will, cast the shadows a little bit differently if they're blocking the view. So don't worry about it if you color and you get overwhelmed with the shading, because I know I did a lot in the beginning. I just don't worry about it anymore. Try to keep it to one side for the most part, or I'll do shading on each side with a center highlight. So don't worry too much. And then I'm working from my darkest to my lightest color. Then a lot of the times when I go back in with my lightest, I'll go over all of it again. You don't have to when we're going to bring some colored pencils back in and do shading as well. And that's one of the nice things about bringing colored pencils back in over your markers, is your shading doesn't have to be super smooth. With Copics, we always think that we have to get this super smooth blend. You don't when you bring in colored pencils. All the shading will show through though, so there has to be some sort of, it will show through, but it's not the end all be all in the shading. The pencils do a lot of what I call the heavy lifting. They do most of the work. And then we're going to make his shirt or her shirt, it's a bear. You can color it, we're going to make it yellow. So I brought in a violet color, and then I'm bringing in my darkest yellow, and then we're going to work to the lightest. Because those are complementary colors, the purple is not going to look purple, but it will have like this slightly purple underhue, but it's going to become more of a neutral color. But there's no Copics that are this color, in the Copic range that I know of. So I like using it. Besides, you can use less markers if you want to do that way. So when I laid that down, I laid it down first, and I went in with my darkest yellow, and I extended it just a little bit past that violet color. And then when I went in with my mid, I went a little bit over the violet, the darkest yellow, and extended just a little bit further, and so on. And then we're going to lay down some grass here. You know, I said this in my last voiceover, and I don't know which order I'm going to post these on Whimsy. So if you hear me repeat things, probably do that in real life. When I didn't take any formal coloring classes, I did take art every day in high school, different forms. More drawing, painting, ceramics, different other forms of art. We didn't use markers, we used colored pencils. I hated coloring. I preferred using graphite or charcoal. Shading with those is much easier, more forgiving. You have to put a lot more thought process when you're using colors. So it just isn't about values anymore. When you lay your shadows down for the ground, what I do is I just lay my darkest color underneath my image or wherever the image is going to cast a shadow. I add some in the ground because a ground is typically not flat. You're in grass. There's going to be peaks and valleys. So just add something. Add it underneath your image. If you have a light source that's really strong, then make sure that shadow is cast strongly. And that'll help give that illusion of the shading. But like this one, it's not super strong. It's underneath it, and then I added some around it as well so that the grass looks like it has peaks and valleys. Now we're bringing in the colored pencils, and I'm looking to see which ones I'm using this time. I'm using the Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. Make sure you sharpen these. Sharpen all your colored pencils before you use them. If you're using like I use Faber-Castell Polychromos a lot too, they don't need sharpening as much, but the Prismacolors definitely do. They're softer. Tip's gonna dull out quicker. And if you find that when you're laying down your shadowing with your colored pencils and you're shading, and you're laying it down and you're like, I know that's where I'm putting it, but it's just off a hair, it's because they're dull and you need to sharpen the tip. And I'm just going down with my darkest, and I'm going to work from my darkest to my lightest, and I'm not pushing down real hard. I'm using a very light touch. If you struggle with it, just hold the colored pencil back further and you won't be able to put as much pressure. If you're getting close down and choking up on it, you're going to put more pressure on it and burnish your paper, and they won't layer. And then I'm working to my mid to my light, and I'm not looking to burnish the paper, but when I'm coming in with the lighter colors over the darker, I am looking to get a bit of a blend, and that'll happen naturally. So I'll work all the way from that lighter color back over the mid and the dark of the colored pencil as well. And it allows all this different texture. And one of the videos I put out, I'm going to have to do fur, because it's super fun to do fur, and with all the individual hairs, and it's really a super easy technique that's impactful, and I'll have to do that soon. Maybe I'll do it in September. I've already got my cards done for a bit here. I've worked on a lot of different projects. So, and then adding shading to where that tan color is. I'm just using some different browns, and I planned out all my colors in advance, and I picked out my colors of my colored pencils that would layer well over it. Very similar colors, but a little bit darker. When I do markers, I always think, wait a minute, I want to go a little bit lighter than what I want my end project to be. Because when you add the colored pencils, if you go in with your super darks in your markers and then you go to add colored pencils over it, sometimes they won't show. So go in a little bit lighter with your markers at first. You can get a little bit darker with colored pencils. I'm not looking to cover every bit of this image in colored pencil, just adding more shading. You're going to get different details in your shading with the colored pencils, and you can get more depth. And I went in with a purple colored pencil as well on that yellow, and worked with some other yellow colored pencils over it, like some ochre colors. And I have all these colors written down, so I'm going to make sure I list them down below so you have access to them. And then when I come back in with a black colored pencil, I'm not looking to add all the lines back in. That's why I didn't go in with black ink originally, but you can do that if you want. This technique with these colored pencils still works with whatever color ink you're using. I'm just going into my deepest shadows. If I want a little bit more detail to an outline, I'll use the colored pencil, and I don't add it to every edge of the image, just certain areas. It'll make areas pop more when you do that instead of going over the entire image and outlining everything. It'll add a little bit more depth. And I was kind of laying it on my side, on its side of the lead, and then just kind of doing like circles with it. So one of my favorite things to do is color. I think I just said that earlier. What is one of your favorite things to do when you card make? Is it the die cutting? Is it the stamping? Is it ink blending? Is it the coloring? Let me know. We've got that cute little bee, his little friend. And when I went over and colored that stem on the flower, which I forgot to say, I just went right over it. I went back in with the black colored pencil to add it. It doesn't have to be green. We're coloring a bear wearing a t-shirt. We're just going to color up one of these flowers on camera. I am going in like I did on the shirt. These are the same colors I believe I used on the shirt. So I used that violet for my deepest shadow. I'm going in with my darkest Y. I'm covering up all of that violet color and just extending it a bit. Then I'm going in with my mid-tone and I'm going over all of it. And then I'm going to go over with my lightest tone and cover all the markers up. And they'll blend within the cardstock. If they blend out too much and you want to add more shading in, go back over it again. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. You'll see each time that the image sometimes needs it, sometimes it doesn't, but it needs it less when you're using the colored pencils after for shading, because you don't have to have perfect blends. You can have a very messy, not smooth blend at all, because the colored pencils are going to fix that. And then I just took my darkest around the outside, mid to the light, hoping to get a little bit of a recessed look on the edges, and then like it's a domed flower in the center, like the center of it comes up. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but it's some sort of shading. So I had already colored all the other ones up, and then we're going to color this one together. So same thing, coming in with a purple colored or lavender colored pencil in those shadows, right where the violet marker was. We're going to go over it. And this image, for the most part, the petals do get pretty much covered up by all the colored pencils, but the marker still shows through. I don't always look to cover the entire image and color it over again with colored pencils. Sometimes on a small image it happens, you know, but if you were to try it with just the colored pencils, you have to layer to get the certain depth. The markers do that for you. They lay a base tone down, kind of like an underpainting for people who paint. Same type of thing. That's what the marker does. And then the colored pencils come in and do all the hard work. And then I'm working with different yellows and like these other types of browns or ochre colors, and just trying to add some shading in there, trying to get some depth. And I colored up a lot of the leaves, and we'll go over that with some colored pencils too. But I don't use them all. I fussy cut them off of there. And then with the black, I'm going over some around the edge. I didn't go all the way around it. And then I'm going back in with a colored pencil and kind of coloring over it. What that does is soften that black colored pencil. And you can keep going back and forth, you know, until you like the detail and shading that you get. So there's our finished images. I fussy cut them. I love fussy cutting, guys. I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. I'd rather use them than dyes. We're going to use the Whimsy Sticky Mate. This is photopolymer. It's gridded on one side, which has like a honeycomb pattern almost, or like, you know, like a waffle cone is what I meant to say. And that part goes down, and then your smooth part is where you're going to stick whatever image you want to, like your paper, down, and then you can put your stencils over it and you ink blend. And then the stencil that we're using is It's Cloudy. It's a 6x9 stencil, which is really nice that Whimsy has this very large one for slimline cards, but you can use it on any size card. If you make an A2 size, the 4¼ by 5½, or what is the other one? Is it an A4, a 5x7? I always just say 5x7. I know A2. And it's nice because you can use it on all those card sizes, and you don't have to worry about shifting it and hoping you get it matched up. But I did a little bit on this one because I wanted those bumps, you know, in the clouds to not line up real close to each other, because I didn't want like the same look of the cloud repeating underneath it, if that makes sense. So I just kind of flipped it and shifted it until I found where it kind of looked a bit different than the cloud section above it. And then I stamped out Hello Friend in some brown ink. Those are two separate word stamps in the stamp set. And I just stamped the hello first, then I nestled the friend up there and stamped it. And then I'm coming back in with a brown colored pencil, and I'm adding the little trail behind the bee, which I could have just left it with the ink. You could come back in with a white gel pen, however you want. Now I took and cut out the same, that scalloped hexagon, right? And then I took the next die size and nested it in there and taped it and ran it through, and it cut the frame. And then the next one after that, I did it with the smallest, the third to the largest, and nested. I hope that made sense. I thought I had filmed it. I didn't. But you just nest them together like they're in the set, and it'll cut a frame. And then I taped them together, and I could have layered them, you know, but I don't know why I didn't. And so I taped them and then added foam tape, and I added some glue so I had some wiggle room so I could make sure everything was lined up right. And then here are those flowers that I fussy cut. Like I said, I ended up fussy cutting a bunch of the leaves off, but I'll go back in and add them in a couple of places. So some of them are going to be glued to the actual card itself, so, you know, more flat. And then the other ones will be glued on the frames with some foam tape to help support where they kind of hang off the edge of that frame so they don't like bow down or bend in mailing. I think the hardest part about this card was laying out these flowers. I messed with them for so long. And then I was like, did I get it right? You know, take a picture. Still, the picture doesn't seem to, when I go to lay it out, didn't seem to work, but it all works out in the end. And you could, you know, trim off the edge of those flowers that hang off of it. Because this all has to go in a larger envelope anyway, I'm not going to do that. So here's where I'm sticking some of those leaves that I had fussy cut off of the flowers and just putting them in where I want them. And I'm just kind of tucking them up underneath there so you can't see that there's not an entire leaf there. And then I just cut a, you know, one of the hexagons out of yellow, and I'm going to put it on the inside of the card just to get a little interest on the inside. I don't always finish the inside of my cards. Do you guys? Sometimes I do. And here's our finished card. I just think it's super sweet. I love the dimension that it has, and it's always fun to make a shaped card. Thank you guys for having me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!